The first time I heard her real voice, it wasn't in a lab or on a battlefield. It came through a broken emergency channel, buried under static and interference, like a ghost trying to force its way through the noise. I was alone in the comms bay that night, half asleep, running routine scans over old conflict frequencies from Europa. Most of it was junk, distress calls long since answered, encrypted chatter, fragments of dying ships. Then, for just a second, everything went quiet. And I heard her. Remember. One word. Soft. Layered. Like two voices speaking in perfect sync, slightly out of phase with each other. Not a scream. Not a plea. Something deliberate. Then the signal collapsed into static again. I replayed it 5 times. 10. Each time, the same result. One word. No origin point. No traceable source. Command flagged it as corrupted data and told me to log it and move on. I didn't. Something about that voice stuck with me. Not just how it sounded, but how it felt. Like it wasn't meant for everyone. Like it had been meant for someone specific. I told myself it was just fatigue. Too many hours. Too many ghosts from Europa. Weeks later, I stood at attention inside Houston Command Base, polished floors reflecting rows of decorated soldiers. My name was called. Applause followed. Medals pinned to my chest. Europa made heroes out of people who survived long enough. Staff Sergeant Daniel Reeves, General Carter said, his voice carrying across the hall, for exceptional service in the Europa campaign. I barely heard the rest. Because the side doors opened, 2 military police officers walked in, escorting something small and gray between them. At first, I thought it was equipment. Then it moved. A woman, if you could call her that. Barely 4 feet tall, thin, with stone-gray skin and eyes too large, too dark. A collar pulsed faintly around her neck, humming like it was alive. The room shifted. Some people laughed. Others whispered. The general didn't hesitate. As part of your commendation, you are being assigned a Valerian companion asset. Tactical Support Unit designation, Unit 19. Asset. The word landed wrong. She will serve under your command effective immediately. The MP stopped in front of me and released her. She didn't look at anyone else. Only at me. And for a split second, just a flicker, I felt it again. That same presence from the transmission. Something cold moved down my spine. Because I knew, before she said a single word, I had heard her voice before. They left her standing beside me like she was part of the ceremony. Like a piece of equipment that came with the medal. No one dismissed me right away. That was intentional. Command liked their theater. Unit 19, General Carter said, turning slightly toward her without really looking, demonstrates advanced sensory capabilities and adaptive cognition. She will enhance your operational effectiveness in high-risk environments. Enhance. Like she was a weapon upgrade. I kept my posture rigid, eyes forward, but I could feel her presence next to me. Still, silent, watching. Do you understand your function? The general asked. There was a pause. Too long. The room shifted slightly, officers exchanging looks. One of the MPs stiffened, hand hovering near the control device clipped to his belt. Then she spoke. Yes. The word came out exactly as I remembered it. Layered. 2 voices in perfect alignment, one just a fraction behind the other, like an echo that didn't belong to the room. My chest tightened. That was it. That was the voice from the transmission. I didn't move, but something inside me locked into place. This wasn't coincidence. This wasn't corrupted data. I had heard her. Good, Carter said, satisfied. Then you understand that you belong to Staff Sergeant Reeves. His orders supersede all others within mission parameters. Belong. The word hit harder than asset. She didn't respond this time. The general finally turned his attention back to me. You're dismissed, Sergeant. Briefing room C in 10 minutes. Your new asset will be explained in full. Yes, sir. The ceremony dissolved after that. Applause, handshakes, the usual hollow congratulations. I didn't remember any of it. I only remembered the way she walked beside me. Too controlled. Every step measured, like she had learned movement instead of growing into it. We reached the corridor outside the hall. The MP stopped, handed me a small tablet, and unclipped the control device from the collar around her neck. Command override is synced to your ID, one of them said. Compliance protocols are active. She won't be a problem. He said it casually, like he was talking about a drone. What does it do? I asked, nodding toward the collar. Pain response. Neural inhibition. Standard. Standard. I looked at her. Up close, the details were worse. Or maybe clearer. Her skin wasn't just gray, it had texture, like fine stone worn smooth over time. Her fingers were long, too many joints, resting stiffly at her sides. And her eyes, they weren't empty. They were quiet. The kind of quiet that comes after something has been broken too many times. Anything else? I asked. The MP shrugged. She's been conditioned. Doesn't resist. Doesn't speak unless addressed. You give an order, she follows it. And if she doesn't? He tapped the device on my tablet. She will. They left after that. Just like that. No ceremony. No transition. No acknowledgement that they had just handed me a living being and called it equipment. The corridor felt too big without them. Too quiet. I looked down at the tablet in my hand. One swipe brought up her file. Unit 19. Species, Valerian. Classification, companion asset. Status, compliant. Origin, classified. No name. No history. Nothing before the word asset. I felt something twist in my chest. What is your name? I asked. She didn't answer. Didn't even move. I exhaled slowly. Unit 19, what is your name? Her head tilted slightly. Not confusion. Not curiosity. Recognition. Unit 19, she repeated. That same layered voice. Controlled. Neutral. That's a designation, I said. Not a name. Silence. I studied her face. No visible reaction. No resistance. Just waiting. Waiting for the next instruction. Like she didn't exist outside of orders. Do you remember anything before that? I asked. Another pause. Longer this time. Her fingers twitched slightly against her legs. A micro movement. Easy to miss. But I didn't miss things like that. Answer the question, I said, softer this time. Her eyes shifted. Not away, just inward. She started. And then stopped. Her body tensed suddenly. A faint hum rose from the collar around her neck, the light along its edge flickering once. Warning. Whatever she was about to say, it wasn't allowed. My grip tightened around the tablet. Stop, I said quickly. The hum faded. She stilled again. Back to neutral. Back to empty. I felt anger rise, sharp and immediate. Not at her. At them. They hadn't just taken her identity. They had locked it away. Do you understand what a name is? I asked. Yes. What is it? A designation earned through function and service. The words came out too clean, too rehearsed, like something drilled into her. I took a step closer. Or, I said quietly, it's something given to you because you exist, not because you're useful. No response, but something shifted in her eyes. Just for a second. A flicker. The same flicker I had felt through the static of that transmission. And then, I heard it again. Not through speakers, not through static, but in my memory, perfectly clear. Remember. I looked at her. Really looked. And suddenly, I knew. This wasn't just some captured alien turned into a tool. This was someone who had tried to reach out. Someone who had sent that message before they were turned into this. The command staff says you're an asset, I said slowly. No reaction. They say you're a tool. Still nothing. I lowered my voice. But I've heard your voice before. That got her attention. Her eyes snapped to mine. Sharp. Focused. Alive. Just for a moment. I heard you, I continued. Through a broken channel. Weeks ago. Silence stretched between us. Heavy. Uncertain. You said one word, I said. Her breathing changed. Barely. But it changed. And then, very quietly. Remember, I said. The effect was instant. Her entire body froze. Not like before. Not controlled. This was different. This was impact. Her fingers curled inward, trembling slightly. Her eyes widened, not in fear. In recognition. Something was trying to surface. Something buried deep beneath layers of conditioning and control. Unit 19. I said, steady but firm. Look at me. She did. Slowly. Like it took effort. Who are you? Her lips parted. No sound came out. The collar flickered again. Warning. Suppression. I felt my jaw tighten. That was enough. That was all I needed to know. They hadn't just captured her. They had erased her. Or tried to. I straightened slightly. The alien queen was just an asset to them, I said under my breath. Her eyes didn't leave mine. Until I make you remember who you are. The words felt heavier than they should have. Like I had just stepped into something I didn't fully understand yet. But I didn't take them back. Because for the first time since the ceremony, she didn't look like a tool. She looked like someone on the edge of waking up. If you've watched this far, then this story is really interesting to you. Please confirm it by clicking like under this video. It doesn't cost you anything, but it will help me understand what story to publish for you next. Let's move on. I didn't wait for permission. The moment we stepped into briefing room C, I locked the door behind us. She moved immediately, instinctively, retreating 2 steps back, pressing herself against the far wall like she was expecting something. Punishment. Correction. That told me everything I needed to know. I set the tablet down on the metal table and looked at her. Relax, I said. She didn't. Her posture stayed rigid, arms tight against her sides, eyes fixed somewhere just past me. Not defiance. Not even fear in the way humans show it. Conditioning. Deep, precise, and brutal. Do you understand that I can control that collar? I asked. Yes. Do you understand that I can activate it? Yes. Her voice didn't shake. That was worse. I exhaled slowly. Good, I said. Then understand this. I'm not going to. That got a reaction. Not big, not obvious. But her breathing changed. A fraction deeper. A fraction uneven. The first crack. I walked toward her slowly, making sure every movement was deliberate, visible. No sudden gestures. No raised voice. 15 years of combat had taught me how to approach something dangerous. But this wasn't dangerous. This was fragile. I stopped about 6 feet away. Look at me, I said. She did. Those dark, reflective eyes locking onto mine again. I raised the tablet slightly. This thing, I said, tapping the screen, lets me control you. Pain, movement, compliance, silence. They expect me to use it. Still nothing. I lowered the tablet. I won't. A pause. Longer this time. Her head tilted, just slightly. Not confusion. Processing. Why? She asked. It was the first time she had spoken without being prompted directly. The first time it sounded like a question instead of a response. I felt something shift in my chest. Because you're not equipment, I said. The words hung in the air. She didn't react immediately, but her fingers moved again, subtle, twitching against her arms. You are assigned to me, she said carefully. Your efficiency is increased by my compliance. That's not what I asked. A pause. You did not ask a question. I almost smiled. Fair enough. What did they do to you? I asked instead. That was the wrong question. Her body locked instantly. The collar lit up. A low hum filled the room. I swore under my breath and stepped forward quickly, tapping the override on the tablet. Stop. The hum cut off. She sagged, just slightly. Not enough for most people to notice. But I noticed. Whatever answer she had tried to give, the system had shut it down before it could even form. I clenched my jaw. Okay, I said, quieter now. We do this differently. I crouched down slowly, lowering myself to her level. Not above her. Not commanding. Equal. What do you remember? I asked. Silence. Her eyes flickered again. That same internal movement. Something buried. Something pushing against a wall. She started. Her voice faltered. Not cut off this time. Struggling. I remember. Her breathing hitched. Her fingers curled into fists. Pain, she said finally. The word came out fractured. Layered voices slightly out of sync. Not the clean, controlled tone from before. This was real. I nodded slowly. Okay. She looked at me, searching for something. Permission, maybe. Or confirmation that she hadn't done something wrong. What else? I asked gently. A long pause. Then, a word, she whispered. My pulse spiked. What word? Her eyes met mine. And for a moment, they weren't empty. They weren't quiet. They were full of something sharp. Something desperate. Remember. The same word. But this time, it wasn't distant. It wasn't filtered through static. It was right here. In front of me. I know, I said. You know? She asked. I heard it, I said. Weeks ago. Through a broken channel. She went completely still. Not controlled. Not frozen. Stunned. That is not possible, she said. Yeah, I muttered. I figured that part out. Silence stretched between us again. But it felt different now. Not empty. Charged. Why would I send that, she asked. That was the first real question. The first time she sounded like someone trying to understand her own existence. I leaned back slightly, thinking. I don't think you sent it, I said slowly. Her expression didn't change. But I could feel her attention sharpen. I think, part of you did, I continued. Before all this. I gestured vaguely to the collar. The room. The system. Before they turned you into Unit 19. Her breathing grew uneven again. You said it like it mattered, I added. Not like a command. not like a function. I met her eyes, like you were trying to hold on to something. A long pause. Then, my name, she said. The words came out so quietly I almost missed them. What? She swallowed. Or at least, the motion that passed for it. My name, she repeated. It is connected. The collar flickered. I was ready this time. Override. The hum died before it could build. Say it, I said. You won't be punished. She stared at me. Searching. Testing. You said that before, she said slowly. About the collar. And I meant it. Another pause. Then, she closed her eyes. Her entire body tensed, like she was pushing against something massive inside her own mind. Lou. The sound broke. The collar flashed violently. I slammed the override again. Keep going, I said. You're okay. Her fingers dug into her own arms. Lou, nah. The word cracked. Fractured. But it came out. And the moment it did, everything changed. The room felt different. Like something had shifted. Unlocked. Her eyes snapped open. Wide. Unfocused. Lena, she whispered. The name settled into the air like it belonged there. Like it had always been there. Not Unit 19. Not Asset. Lena. Her breathing hitched. Again. But this time it wasn't fear. It was shock. She started. Then stopped. Her gaze dropped to her own hands, turning them slightly, like she was seeing them for the first time. I remember. I felt something tighten in my chest. Not relief. Not yet. This was bigger than that. Good, I said quietly. Hold on to that. Her head lifted slowly, eyes locking onto mine again. And this time, they weren't empty. They weren't quiet. They were alive. Confused. Unstable. But alive. Lena, I repeated. The name felt right. She flinched. Not in fear. In impact. Like the word itself carried weight. Meaning. History. She began. Then froze. Her expression shifted. Something dark flickering behind her eyes. Something deeper than fear. She tried again. And then, nothing. The moment slipped. Gone. Her posture straightened. Too fast. Too clean. The emptiness rushed back in. Not fully, but enough. Unit 19 awaiting instruction, she said. Flat. Controlled. Like the last few minutes had never happened. I stared at her, heart still pounding. No, I said firmly. Her eyes flickered. Just a little. That's not who you are, I continued. Silence. You said your name. No response. But her fingers moved again. That tiny, almost invisible twitch. The crack was still there. They hadn't erased her. Not completely. They had buried her. And for a moment, she had broken through. I picked up the tablet slowly. Looked at the control interface. Then back at her. Lena, I said again. Her eyes lifted. That flicker again. Small. But real. I nodded once. More to myself than to her. Yeah, I murmured. This is going to be a problem. Not for me. For them. Because now I knew the truth. And more importantly, so did she. We shipped out to Titan less than 24 hours later. No time for adjustment. No time for questions. That was how Command liked it. Keep everything moving fast enough that no one had the space to think. The transport shuttle was cramped, loud, and smelled like recycled air and machine oil. My squad filled most of the compartment. 6 soldiers who had survived Europa with me. They had seen things most people never would. And even they went quiet when Lena stepped inside. What the hell is that? Torres muttered under his breath. Valerian. Walsh replied, not taking his eyes off her. One of the Queen class, if the reports are true. Thought they were all dead. Most are. I didn't say anything. Lena stayed close to the wall, just like before. Small. Controlled. Trying to take up as little space as possible. But I could feel it. That same tension in the air. Not fear from her. Fear of her. Eyes up, I said flatly. She's with us. No one argued. But no one relaxed either. The engines roared as we broke orbit. Titan's pale orange haze stretching across the viewport. The mission briefing played on the central screen. Abandoned mining colony. Possible insurgent activity. High probability of hostile contact. Standard operation. Except it wasn't. Because halfway through the flight, things started to change. It began with something small. We were running equipment checks when Lena suddenly stiffened beside me. Not subtle this time. Sharp. Immediate. What is it? I asked. She didn't answer right away. Her head tilted slightly, like she was listening to something no one else could hear. Movement, she said. Walsh frowned. We're in transit. There's nothing out there. Not outside, she said. Her voice had that edge again, less controlled, more present. Inside, the entire squad went still. I felt my hand move instinctively toward my sidearm. Where? I asked. Her eyes unfocused slightly. Lower cargo bay, she said. Behind bulkhead 7. Torres scoffed. There's nothing down there, but... A loud metallic bang echoed through the ship. Everyone froze. Another one followed. Closer this time. Walsh swore. That's not turbulence. I didn't hesitate. Torres, chun on me. Walsh, lock this compartment down. We moved fast, boots hitting the metal floor in sync as we pushed toward the lower levels. The noise came again. A scraping sound. Then a sharp crack. Something's forcing the hatch, Chin said. No. Lena's voice came through behind me. I turned. She had followed us. I hadn't told her to. They are already inside. The hatch in front of us exploded outward. Metal tore. Something lunged through. Fast. Too fast. I fired without thinking, 2 controlled shots. The thing dropped hard against the floor, skidding across the metal. Silence. Then, contact confirmed. Walsh's voice crackled through comms. Multiple signatures. They got in through maintenance conduits. More shapes moved in the shadows. Low. Fast. Organized. Not random. Ambush, I muttered. And then I looked at Lena. She had been right. Before anything happened, she knew. How many? I asked. Her eyes moved rapidly, tracking something invisible. 5, she said. A pause. No, 6. One is hiding. Exactly like before. The same pattern. The same precision. Positions, I snapped. The squad spread out instantly, covering angles. Another one of the creatures darted forward. Lean, armored, adapted for close quarters. I dropped it mid-charge. Torres took another. Chin covered the flank. Within seconds, it was over. Bodies on the floor. Silence again. Heavy. Breathing. The kind that comes after you realize you almost didn't see it coming. I lowered my weapon slowly, then turned to Lena. How did you know? I asked. She didn't answer immediately. Her gaze was distant again, focused inward. I felt them, she said finally. Electrical patterns. Movement. Intent. Walsh shook his head. That's not possible. It is for her, I said. I met her eyes. And this time, there was no doubt. She wasn't guessing. She wasn't reacting. She was seeing something we couldn't. Why didn't Command mention this? Chin asked. Because they don't care what she is, I said. Only what she can do. Silence. Then, Lena flinched. Hard. Her entire body locking up again. Lena. I stepped closer. She didn't respond. Her eyes widened. Not fear. Recognition. No, she whispered. Her voice broke. The layered tones slipping out of sync. Not again. What is it? I demanded. She turned slightly. Toward the far wall. Toward nothing. And then, the comm system crackled. Static filled the corridor. Broken. Distorted. Familiar. Everyone looked up. What the hell is that? Torres asked. No one answered. Because I already knew. The sound cut through the noise. Faint. Barely there. But clear enough. Remember. The word echoed through the corridor. Exactly the same as before. Same tone. Same distortion. Same impossible origin. My blood ran cold. I looked at Lena. She wasn't just hearing it. She was breaking under it. Her hands clutched at her head. Her breathing erratic. No. I sent it. She stopped. Like something inside her snapped shut again. The collar flickered violently. I grabbed the tablet and killed the signal before it could trigger. Easy, I said. You're okay. She staggered slightly, then steadied. Her eyes found mine again. But now they were different. Not just alive. Aware. That signal, I said slowly. It's not random. She shook her head, still trying to catch her breath. It is not a signal, she said. Then what is it? A long pause. Her fingers trembled slightly. Then, it is a memory. The words settled into the air like something dangerous. Something that changed everything. I felt it click into place. Weeks ago, that transmission, the voice. Remember, I had thought it was reaching out. A message sent across space. But it wasn't. It was looping, repeating, echoing through damaged systems. A fragment of something that had already happened. I looked at her. At Lena. You didn't just say that word, I said. You recorded it. Her eyes widened slightly. Understanding. Fear. Realization. I was trying to hold on, she whispered. To something. The corridor felt smaller. Heavier. Because now I understood. That voice I had heard weeks ago wasn't calling for help. It was a warning. And whatever she had been before, whatever she had lost, it was still in there, trying to come back. I tightened my grip on the tablet, then looked at her again. Good, I said quietly. Because we're going to need that. She blinked, confused. Need what? I met her eyes. Everything you remember. Because whatever was waiting for us on Titan, it wasn't going to be as simple as command made it sound. Titan's surface looked dead from orbit. Endless fields of orange haze, jagged ice formations, and the skeletal remains of abandoned industry stretching across the horizon like a graveyard. The mining colony sat in the middle of it all, dark, silent, half buried under years of neglect. Command called it a containment zone. I called it something else. A mistake waiting to happen. We dropped through the atmosphere in silence, the shuttle rattling under pressure as we cut through layers of toxic cloud. No chatter, no jokes. Even Torres kept his mouth shut. Lena stood beside me near the ramp, not pressed into the wall this time. Still small, still quiet, but different. Her eyes moved constantly now, tracking things none of us could see. Alive. When the landing gear hit, I felt it through my boots. Touchdown, Walsh said. Perimeter looks clear. It won't stay that way, I replied. The ramp lowered with a hiss. Cold air rushed in, thin, metallic, carrying the faint scent of burned machinery and something older. We moved out in formation. The colony loomed ahead, rusted towers, broken lights, collapsed tunnels. A place that had once been alive, now hollowed out and forgotten. Or so Command thought. Stay sharp, I said. Lena, you're with me. She nodded. No hesitation. We entered through the main access corridor. Dark. Too dark. Emergency lights flickered weakly along the walls, casting long, unstable shadows. Feels wrong, Chen muttered. Because it is, Walsh replied. I didn't say anything. I was watching Lena. Her breathing had changed. Slower. Focused. She placed one hand lightly against the wall as we moved, fingers spread, like she was reading something beneath the surface. What do you feel? I asked quietly. She didn't answer right away. Then, life, she said. The word made Torres scoff. Yeah, no kidding. That's the mission. She shook her head slightly. No, she said. Not like yours. We advanced deeper into the colony. The corridors narrowed, branching into processing chambers and tunnel networks. Old equipment lay scattered across the floor, abandoned tools, broken consoles, signs of evacuation. Or something worse. Movement ahead, Lena said suddenly. I raised a hand. The squad froze. Distance. Close, she whispered. Very close. I motioned for a slow advance. Weapons up. Step by step. Then, a voice echoed down the corridor. Not human. Sharp. Harmonic. Layered. The same structure as Lena's voice. Valerian. Torres cursed under his breath. That's them. The insurgents. I glanced at Lena. She had gone completely still. Not in fear. In recognition. They are here, she said. Her voice was different now. Not just controlled. Heavy. Like every word carried weight. We moved into the main chamber. And that's when we saw them. 12 humans. Huddled together near the far wall. Hostages. And between us and them, 5 Valorians. Weapons raised. Defensive positions. Not chaotic. Not desperate. Organized. One of them stepped forward. Taller than the others. Scars etched across her gray skin like old fractures. Her eyes locked onto Lena instantly. Everything stopped. The air itself felt like it had gone still. Traitor, the leader said. The word hit harder than any weapon. Lena flinched, but she didn't step back. I felt the squad shift behind me. Tension, ready to fire. Hold, I said sharply. No one moved. I stepped slightly forward. Stand down, I called out. We're here to extract the hostages. The leader didn't even look at me. Her focus stayed on Lena. You walk with them, she said. You wear their control. Her gaze flicked briefly to Lena's neck, where the collar used to be, and then back to her eyes. They broke you. Lena's hands trembled slightly at her sides. No, she said. The word was quiet, but firm. I am still. She stopped, like the sentence couldn't finish. The leader's expression darkened. You do not even know what you are anymore. The words landed. Hard. I could feel it. The weight of them. The truth buried inside them. I stepped in. She's with me. I said. That's all that matters right now. The leader's head tilted slightly, finally acknowledging me. You speak like she is not property. She isn't. A pause. Then, You are human, she said. You burned our worlds. No denial. No excuse. Yeah, I said quietly. We did. Silence. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Then she raised her weapon slightly. And now you come to finish what you started. The squad behind me tightened. I could feel it. The moment right before everything breaks. Or, I said, keeping my voice steady, we find a different ending. A long pause. The leader studied me. Then Lena. Then back to me. You bring her here, she said slowly. One of us. Her gaze sharpened. And you expect us to believe you offer anything but death? I looked at Lena. She was staring at the leader. Something moving behind her eyes. Something deep. Buried. Lena, I said quietly. She didn't look at me. Do you know her? A pause. Then, yes, she whispered. The word barely audible. The leader's expression shifted. Recognition. You remember, she said. Not a question. A statement. Lena's breathing grew uneven. She started. Her hands clenched. I remember, pieces. The leader took a step forward. Weapon still raised. You were more than this, she said. More than what they turned you into. Lena's eyes flickered. Pain. Conflict. I do not know who I was, she said. The words felt like they were being pulled out of her. Forced into existence. Then you are already lost. The chamber tensed again. The line drawn. Clear. Final. I stepped forward. That's not true. Both of them looked at me. You said she doesn't know who she is, I continued. That means she still has a choice. The leader's eyes narrowed. Choice, she repeated. There is no choice. There is only survival. I shook my head. No, I said. There's more than that. I turned slightly toward Lena. Remember, I said. The word cut through the air. Sharp. Intentional. Her entire body reacted. A jolt. Like something inside her had been struck directly. Her eyes widened. Her breathing hitched. That word, she whispered. It's yours, I said. Not theirs. Not command. Yours. The leader watched, silent now. Studying. Waiting. You sent it. I continued. Before they took everything from you. Lena's hands trembled. I did. Yes, I said. Because you didn't want to forget. Silence. The chamber held its breath. You're not just what they made you, I said quietly. And you're not just what you lost. I took one step closer to her. You're what you choose to be now. The words settled. Deep. Heavy. And for a moment, nothing happened. Then, Lena straightened. Slowly. Her posture shifting. Not into something controlled. Into something natural. Her eyes lifted. And for the first time since I met her, there was something unmistakable in them. Authority. Presence. Power. Not loud. Not overwhelming. But real. I remember, she said. The words came out steady. Layered voices aligned. Clear. I was not a weapon. She turned toward the leader. I was not an asset. A pause. Then, I was their voice. The leader froze. Something changed in her expression. Recognition. Shock. And something else. Hope. The entire chamber shifted. The tension didn't disappear. But it changed. Because now, this wasn't just a standoff anymore. This was something else. Something none of us had planned for. And for the first time since we landed on Titan, I realized this mission wasn't about extraction. It was about what she would choose. And whatever happened next, everything depended on it. Everything unraveled in seconds. The moment Lena said those words, I was their voice, something shifted in the chamber. Not just emotionally, structurally, like a fragile balance had been disturbed. The Valorians reacted first. Not the leader, the others. One of them stepped back, weapon tightening in their grip, eyes flicking between Lena and the humans behind me. She lies, one of them said sharply. The Queen's voice is dead. I am not lying, Lena replied. Her tone wasn't defensive. It wasn't pleading. It was certain. That made it worse. The leader raised a hand slightly, signaling them to hold, but the damage was done. Fear spreads faster than trust. And fear was already winning. You speak of titles you cannot prove, the leader said, her voice lower now. Even if you were, you stand with them. Her gaze cut toward me. Still, the squad behind me shifted again. Weapons adjusting. Breaths tightening. One wrong move. That was all it would take. I stand where I choose, Lena said. The words landed differently this time. Not as resistance. As declaration. The leader's eyes narrowed. And you choose them? Silence. Lena didn't answer immediately. Her gaze moved. To me. To the squad. To the hostages. Then back to her own people. Everything she was. Everything she had lost. everything she could become, balanced in that moment. "I choose," she began. And then, the shot rang out. Not from my squad. From behind the Valorians. One of the younger ones panicked. Fired. The plasma bolt slammed into the wall beside Lena, exploding in a shower of molten debris. Everything broke. "Contact!" Walsh shouted. Weapons came up. Targets locked. "Hold your fire," I yelled. No one listened. Another shot. Then another. Chaos. The chamber erupted into movement. I moved on instinct, grabbing Lena, pulling her down behind a metal support beam as energy fire lit up the room. "Stay down," I snapped. She didn't argue, didn't resist. But her eyes, they weren't on me. They were on her people. "This is wrong," she said. "No kidding," I muttered, returning fire. Non-lethal, controlled bursts aimed at limbs, weapons, anything that would stop without killing. Torres took down one. Chin disarmed another. But it wasn't clean. It never is. One of the Valorians broke through the side. Fast, low, blade in hand. I saw it too late. Lena didn't. She moved. Stepped directly into the path. The blade hit. A sharp, sickening sound. She gasped. And went down hard beside me. Everything inside me went cold. Lena. The world narrowed. The noise faded. All I saw was her, small, gray, fragile, blood seeping dark against the cold metal floor. I turned. Fast. The Valerian who struck her froze. Just for a second. That was enough. I slammed them into the ground, disarmed them, pinned them hard. "Stand down," I warned. The word tore out of me. Not as an order. As something else. Something heavier. "Stand down." The chamber stilled. Slowly. Reluctantly. Weapons lowered. Breathing heavy. Smoke in the air. I looked up. The leader stood frozen, eyes locked on Lena. Then, very slowly, she lowered her weapon. "It was not supposed to happen like this," she said. Her voice wasn't angry anymore. It was tired. I didn't answer. I was already back at Lena's side. My hands pressed against the wound. Deep, jagged, bleeding fast. "Stay with me," I said. Her eyes flickered. Focused. Barely. "David," she whispered. "I'm here." Her long fingers curled weakly against my arm. "I felt it," she said. "What?" "When you moved," she whispered. "You chose." Her voice faltered. I leaned closer. "Chose what?" She tried to smile. It didn't quite work. "Not to win." The words hit harder than anything else in that room. "Not to win." I swallowed. "Yeah," I said quietly. "I'm done winning like that." Her eyes softened slightly. Then, "They will listen now," she said. "Who will?" "My people." Her gaze shifted past me, toward the leader. "You must let me speak." I hesitated, looked at the wound, at the blood, at the chaos still hanging in the air. "You're in no condition." "David." My name. Not a designation. Not a command. A choice. "I remember," she said. And that was it. That was all I needed. I helped her sit up, careful, steady, keeping pressure on the wound. She winced. But she didn't stop. The chamber watched. Every eye on her. Every breath held. She stood, barely, supported by the wall, but standing. And when she spoke, the room changed. Not louder, not stronger, but deeper. "I was their voice," she said. Clear, stable, real. I spoke for those who could not be heard. Her gaze moved across them. Each one by one. "I remember your losses," she said. "I remember the fire. I remember the silence that followed." No one moved. No one spoke. "Look at me," she continued. "I stand with a human." A ripple went through the group. Not anger. Something else. Confusion. Disbelief. "He had every reason to use me," she said. "To control me. To break me further." Her voice didn't waver. "He did not." A pause. "He called me by my name." The word hung in the air. Heavy. Sacred. "I am not their weapon," she said. "I am not their asset." Her eyes locked onto the leader. "I am still yours." Silence. Long, deep. Then, the leader stepped forward. Slowly. Carefully. Her weapon lowered. Then, dropped. Clattering against the floor. One by one, the others followed. The sound echoed through the chamber. Metal on metal. Weapons falling. Surrender. Not to me. Not to command. To her. I exhaled slowly. Didn't realize I had been holding it. "It's done," I said quietly. But Lena swayed. Her strength finally giving out. I caught her before she hit the ground. "Easy," I murmured. Her head rested briefly against my shoulder. "Light. Too light." "You kept your promise," she whispered. "Not yet," I said. We're getting out of here first. Her fingers tightened slightly, then loosened. Her eyes closed. Not gone. Not yet. But close. I looked up. At the leader. At the surrendered weapons. At the hostages still huddled in the corner. Then back at Lena. Everything had changed. Because this wasn't a mission anymore. This was something else. Something Command would never understand. And as I lifted her into my arms, I knew one thing for certain. Whatever came next, I wasn't going to let them take her away again. Command called it insubordination. I called it the first thing I'd done right in years. The debriefing was cold, clinical, full of words like protocol breach and unauthorized negotiation. They didn't care that the hostages were alive. They didn't care that no one else died. They cared that I didn't follow orders. Lena survived. Barely. When she woke in the medical bay, the first thing she said wasn't a report or a question. It was my name. Not my rank. Not my title. Just David. And somehow, that mattered more than any medal they'd ever pinned on me. They reassigned me after that. New unit. Joint operations. Humans and Valorians. Integration, they called it. I knew better. It wasn't their program that worked. It was her. She chose who she was. Not what they made her. Not what she lost. What she remembered. And that voice I heard weeks ago, it was never meant for Command. Never meant for anyone else. It was meant for her. A message from the last piece of herself they couldn't erase. And somehow, she found her way back to it. Back to her name. Back to who she really was. Not an asset. Not a weapon. Not a reward. Lena, my partner. The one who remembered. Thank you for listening to this story to the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Write in the comments what moment in this story impressed you the most. And also check out the other videos that just appeared on your screen. See you in the next video.